On the edge of a small town surrounded by mountains lived a young woman named Neera. The town wasn't very big, but it was full of people, noise, and constant hustle. Everyone seemed busy chasing something. Some wanted money, some wanted fame, others wanted recognition. But Neera was a little different. She had a small wooden house by the river. In front of her house were a few flower plants, marigolds, roses, and some unknown wildflowers. Every morning, she would wake up early and sit by the river to watch the sunrise. To her, that was the most beautiful moment of the day. Neera didn't have big dreams. She just wanted to live peacefully in her own way. She worked at a small library in town. The smell of old books, the silence, and the sound of turning pages, that was her world. People didn't really understand her. Some would say, "Can life be lived like this? You could have done so much more." Neera would just smile and reply, "What I'm doing is enough for me." One day, news spread throughout the town. An unusual person had arrived. Some said he could see the future. Others said he could change people's fate. His name was Arash. People began to visit him in crowds. Some wanted to become rich, some wanted success. Others wanted to fix their past mistakes. Neera didn't think much about it. She continued living her life as usual. But one evening, while returning home after closing the library, she saw a man sitting by the river. He wore deep blue clothing, and his eyes held a strange calmness. As Neera approached, the man said, "You are Neera, right?" She was surprised. "Do you know me?" The man smiled. "I know everyone in this town. And you are not like the others." Neera felt slightly uncomfortable. "Are you Arash?" He nodded. "Yes." There was a moment of silence. Then Arash said, "Have you ever thought about what your life could be like if it were different?" Neera replied calmly, "No, I'm satisfied with my life." Arash smiled faintly. "Everyone says that, but deep inside, they want more." "I don't," Neera said firmly. Arash stood up and said, "Come, let me show you something." Neera hesitated, but curiosity led her forward. They walked to an old garden outside the town. It had been abandoned for a long time. Trees were dry, and the ground was covered with fallen leaves. But in the center of the garden stood 3 stone pillars. In front of each pillar floated a glowing orb of light. One was bright golden, one was blue, and one was soft white. Arash said, "These 3 lights represent 3 possible paths of your life." Neera remained silent. "The golden light holds power and fame," Arash explained. "You could become a great writer, known by everyone. The blue light holds wealth and luxury. You could have everything you desire. And the white light," he paused, "it holds a simple life. No greatness, no praise, just peace." Neera looked at the 3 lights. She didn't feel tempted. Instead, a question arose in her mind. Why was she being given this choice? "May I ask something?" she said. "Of course," Arash replied. "What if I choose none of them?" Arash paused for a moment. Then he said, "Then your life will remain exactly as it is. Nothing will change." Neera smiled gently. "Then that is what's right for me." Arash frowned slightly. "Are you sure?" People would give up everything for this opportunity. Neera slowly walked toward the white light, but she didn't touch it. She turned back and said, "I don't want to take anything." "Why?" Arash asked, surprised. Neera answered calmly, "Because I don't want to change my life based on possibilities. What I have, I've built myself, and that is enough for me." Arash said, "But you could have something better." Neera smiled. "What does better mean?" "Fame, money, success." She shook her head. "Those aren't always better. I've seen people who have everything, yet they're not happy." A cool breeze passed through the air. "Don't you ever feel lonely?" Arash asked. Neera thought for a moment. "Sometimes I do, but that loneliness is mine. I'm not afraid of it." Arash looked at her deeply. "You are different," he said softly. Neera smiled. "No, I'm just simple." Suddenly, the golden and blue lights began to shine brighter, as if trying to attract her. But Neera stepped back. "These lights are beautiful," she said, "but they are too bright for my eyes. I prefer my soft light." Arash let out a long sigh. "You know," he said, "I've been offering choices to people for a long time, but no one has ever chosen nothing." Neera smiled gently. "Maybe they thought choosing nothing means losing everything." "And you?" Arash asked. "I think sometimes choosing nothing is the greatest gain." For a moment, everything fell silent. Then suddenly, all 3 lights went out. The garden returned to darkness. Arash said, "You have passed the test." Neera was surprised. Test? Yes, he said. I wanted to see if you were truly content, or just convincing yourself. And Neera asked, You are truly content? Arash replied with a soft smile. Neera said nothing. She simply looked up at the sky. One by one, the stars began to appear. I should go home now, she said. Arash nodded. Go. Your life is waiting for you. Neera began to walk. She didn't look back. Her small house, her flowers, her books, they were all calling her back. When she reached home, she lit the stove, opened a book, and sat down peacefully. Everything was just the same as before. But within her, a new realization had taken root. She had never lost anything. From a distance, Arash watched her. There was a strange calmness on his face. He understood. Not everyone needs to change. Some people are already complete. And sometimes, the greatest magic in life is having no magic at all.